The new Notebook LM video update, which is completely free, is probably one of the most powerful marketing and AI automation tools you could use for your business, and it's completely free to access. I'm going to show you exactly how to use it step by step today, along with some very actionable and practical examples of exactly how you can use it, whether you want to automate things, learn things, market your business, etc. Now, if you want to see some examples of this actually working as a real use case, so for example, you can actually see me ranking on the first page of Google for this keyword using AI directly here. And you can easily generate this audio and then upload it to something like SoundCloud completely for free and almost instantly using the process that I'm about to show you. All right. And as we go through this, if you have any questions, feel free to ask if you're watching the live. If you're not watching the live and you want to join myself and others, join the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments and description, and we'll get straight into this, all right? So first thing that you could do is you can just sign up for a free account directly inside NotebookLM, and then from here you can click on Create New, and now you can start uploading sources or using this however you want to. Okay, so for example, we can upload one of my latest YouTube videos and then use that to generate more content. So let's mute this site over here, and then we're going to grab this. So we'll take, for example, this video right here that we've just produced. We'll go into here and we're going to add the YouTube URL that we want to create content around, and then from here we can start generating an output. Now if you're wondering, okay, how does this work? So it's so incredibly simple. Basically what you're doing is you're training this chatbot on all the information that you have. So it's creating a personalized chatbot, you know, like a custom GPT that has a lot of context on exactly what you want to create content around, right? Like you can see over here. Now in this section, you can now start saying, right, do you want longer or shorter responses? Do you want to generate custom responses? So for example, it could be, okay, respond and write as Julian Goldie, right? Something like that. We can hit save there. And then also, if you want to generate an audio version where two AIs talk to each other, you can click on audio overview over here. If you want to generate a video version, then you can click on video overview over here, right? Now there's a bunch of different use cases for this, and we'll come back to these outputs in a second, but essentially you can use this to generate videos and custom train GPTs. Now, if you want to see an example of the actual video itself ranking on Google, so you can see an example here. If we type in SEO training Honiton, you can see this YouTube video is actually ranking. It's got hundreds of views using a very similar process where we essentially create a video using NotebookLM, then we publish it on YouTube, then it ranks for our keyword, we get customers and traffic to our funnel just using that process, and we're dominating the first 3 spots on the first page of Google for this keyword that people are trying to type into Google, right? So let's run through some of the cool use cases for this. Number one is, you know, you can turn a Google Doc into a YouTube ready video in one single click, right? So if we go over back to NotebookLM over here, and we'll wait for those, we'll come back to that later. So if we go back inside here, we're going to click create new, and then for example, let's say we have a document where we want to train our team, right? So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to train my team. In fact, I think I've already shown this example in the past. So I'm going to use something called our account manager playbook, right? This is something we actually use at our agency. Big long document, 37 pages of wonderful training that, you know, to be honest, it's going to take a long time for a normal account manager to actually start using. So what we can do is we can grab that, and we're going to actually just grab the URL. I better make that restricted actually. There we go. All right, so we can grab that URL. Then we're going to go back over to Google Docs, and then we're going to select an item. So I'm going to paste that in right here. We're going to take that account manager playbook, and then that's going to start generating the responses from our notebook, right? So basically what we're doing here is we're taking a Google Doc that I use for internal training, but you could use for whatever you want. We plug that URL into NotebookLM, and then from here, we are now creating the account manager's growth playbook. And then if you want to turn this into, you know, a video that's YouTube ready in one single click, all you do is just click video overview here, right? Boom, ready to go. You've got YouTube videos ready to go, and it's pretty simple and easy. Ghost Gun says, That's cool. How will this help me as Visual C Code user? So that's a great question, right? So let's say, for example, and I'm just going to create one quickly on ChatGPT to show you, right? So let's say you are a Visual C Code guide. We'll say create a Visual C Code guide right here, right? And what we're going to do is just grab some information that we can later plug into NotebookLM to generate a guide based on the real world use case. And I want to show you this quickly because, you know, with a live comment from one of the watchers, we can show you a quick example and it's a real life use case that someone is actually looking for help for, right? So we're waiting for that to load from ChatGPT 5 over here. I mean, the other way you could use this is like if you go to create new and then we're just going to click on discover sources, we could do, you know, Visual C over here and then take all the sources from the web to create our content, right? And then once we've got all these, so for example, it's like Wikipedia and stuff, we can import that in. That's going to take all, you know, the top sources, the most credible sources on this topic. And then from here, you're like, right, well, how do I learn from this, right? So let me show you exactly how, okay? So there's a few ways. Number one, you can ask it questions inside here. So you could say, okay, explain Visual C Code to me like stupid, all right? Because I don't know what Visual Studio Code is, and the more simplified the definition I can get, the better, right? And then whilst you're waiting for that to generate, what you can do over here is you can get a podcast overview, you can get a video overview, you can get a mind map, and you can also get all this other stuff, right? So we could create a briefing doc, a study guide, FAQs, and a timeline if you thought that was necessary, right? If you were learning something about, say, history or something like that. So from here, it's explained exactly what Visual C Code is, and it says Visual C++ is a core part of Microsoft's Visual Studio software, which is a big toolbox for programmers. Okay, and then it just explains step by step exactly what it is, right? And then you can create follow-up questions. It actually suggests a bunch of follow-up questions at the bottom right here. And then in the meantime, we've got the audio view, the video view, the mind map, the reports, and everything else generating, right? And it would literally take about usually about 2 to 5 minutes to generate that response. But the main thing to note here is like, if you have a real world use case, this is very, very powerful. And it's one of the ultimate ways to learn. I wish, you know, I speak 5 languages, right? I speak Italian, Spanish, Chinese, English, obviously, and Thai, right? And so if I had something like this, everything would have been 10 times easier back in the day. Instead, I had to, you know, study, for example, Chinese every single day and practice a conversation every single day for an hour a day and live in Taiwan to learn Mandarin, right? Whereas now, you know, you could even, for example, you can create audio overviews, right? Let me show you this. This is crazy. So if we go back over here, I'm going to take one from yesterday. So let's say you're trying to learn something. So if we've got this, for example, this audiobook over here, what we can actually do is we can play this back. So this is an audiobook based on my YouTube video over here, right? And we can actually make this interactive, right? So let's say you were learning a language or learning a new skill. Well, you can play the podcast.
It's always a challenge, right? Oh, absolutely.
Right? So you can play that podcast, that's the AI speaking between 2 different AIs, a male and a female. And then what we can actually do is join it and ask questions.
More crowded than ever. Hey there. Want to share your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so could you tell me exactly what Perplexity AI SEO is?
That is an excellent question and one we're absolutely going to unpack for you right now.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. So Perplexity AI, think of it less like a traditional search engine that just gives you a list of...
Right, so you can actually join a live podcast and then ask questions as well, you know, and like, how much would you pay for coaching? Normally, if I was paying a tutor, for example, to teach me a language or to teach me a new skill, I mean, minimum you're going to pay is $20 an hour. This tool is completely free. Maximum you might pay, you know, if you're learning something like marketing, if you're learning something like AI automation, maximum you might pay is like thousands of dollars per hour, right? And now you can automate it all using this process. It's all completely free and it's free for the world to access, which is absolutely amazing if you ask me. All right, so if we go back now to the account manager's growth playbook, we have that ready to go. If we go to the Visual Studio C guide, where did that go? Let's just refresh the page right here. I think it'll be this one over here. And so it's creating the outputs down here, like we can see. And then also, if we go back to that video we imported earlier, We now have the audio ready to go. And obviously the video is a bit more powerful, so that's going to take a bit more time. But we'll get the resources back soon, right? Robertson says, I used for some time. Notebook LM is awesome, and the new update is even better. I would agree with you, sir. And that is two different ways, right? So we've talked about learning Visual C code. We've talked about learning languages, actually. And we've talked about turning a Google Doc into a YouTube-ready video. Let's talk about converting a YouTube video into a podcast episode. So that was really simple. We've done that right here. So we took the YouTube video, we pasted that in, and then we've got the podcast over here.
Okay, imagine this. A brand new AI model.
Problem to giving a
That is a 10-minute long podcast.
Okay, imagine this.
Right, pretty crazy. And then also, here's the thing to note, is that you can download this, right? So you can download that, and then potentially, you could use that as marketing material to embed on your blog, or you could embed that directly inside your website. You could, for example, upload it to YouTube with a screen share of what you're doing, etc. And get more views and customers that way if you're creating content. And then also, you could actually just upload that to SoundCloud or send it out to your audience. You could even use it as a free lead magnet, right? So people have to opt in to get the podcast or to get the guide. And then, when they do it, they get all the details. Now, the other thing here as well, you can share this with your team, or you can share this with the public. So you can create a note here and make it accessible. If you make this accessible, so you click on anyone with the link, then you're going to click save, and then anyone with the link now, you can share all this information with. Pretty simple and easy. Right? And so that's basically it. By the way, these flowcharts are super nice, aren't they? From ChatGPT 5. I love that. And then it's got the ideas of programs, how to use it, etc. GPT-5 is pretty good for stuff like this. It's not amazing for writing content. That's the biggest problem that I've found so far. So if you have any use cases that you want to see, let me know. Who have we got watching here? Santiago Conde Morales. Shout out to you. Says, hey, Julian, thanks for streaming. Love the content. Appreciate you. And Big says, where's the Gemini 3.0 video? Just wanted to rewatch it. We're gonna republish that with more information later today, so don't worry about that. That's coming within the next 24 hours, I would say, something like that. All right, so let's get back to this. Summarize a huge PDF in a 2-minute video. So we've actually done that with the Account Manager Playbook. That was 37 pages. If you want to see another example of that, so if we go back over here, then we're going to go down to the Advanced Sales Operating Procedure. If we go to our Sales SOP, all right, so let's go to Sales SOP over here, and you can see this is an 88-page document that I actually uploaded into NotebookLM, and then we've got videos and audio versions over here. So for example, if we click on play, this is a video overview of the 88-page document that we've uploaded directly into NotebookLM.
So today, we're going to do something a little different. It's this core belief system that everyone on the team has to live and breathe every single day. So yeah, before...
All right, so you can see an example right there. Let's go full screen on this bad boy. I'll show you what I mean. So basically, this is an automated video that's better than any other AI video generated software, to be honest, I've used, apart from like HeyGen and stuff like that. And you can see an example of the output.
It's basically a website's authority score. So when a client sees their rival is not just beating them, but crushing them with 10 times the traffic, well, that gap, that pain, it suddenly becomes very, very real. Okay, so after they've amped up the pain and presented their service as the only cure, they hit them with this killer question. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at?
Right, so basically what it's doing here is it's talking through temperature checks, which is a sales strategy that we use sometimes on the course just to see if clients are happy with us, right? So Jamaica Good Life says, watch you all the time, good show, all from Jamaica. Shout out to Jamaica. Love a bit of Bob Marley. And then Santiago Conde says, I have the game idea with the cards, but I don't know how to make it code the game for me. NotebookLM generate the video. Yeah. All right. So if you want to learn how to like code stuff, go inside the AR Profit Boardroom, type in Gemini, and inside the AR Profit Boardroom, you'll see all these different trainings on Gemini, right? So if you're struggling to build anything, you can basically learn everything you need to know about Gemini directly inside the AR Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. And then for the videos, yeah, so this was fully generated automatically in one single click using NotebookLM. Pretty amazing stuff. Johnny says, I'm a complete novice. All this is overwhelming. Why do I start? I really want to learn. Yeah, so one of the best things that you can do is inside the AI Profit Boardroom, if you go over here and then you go to the classroom, inside the classroom, we have a 6-week AI automation masterclass, right? And basically what this is doing step by step is guiding you through with homework exactly what AI is, how, what are the best tools to use, etc., the basics. We even have a section inside there where it shows you exactly how to focus, right? So how to cut all the information, all the craziness, and just focus on what's going to get you results. Because every single day is information overload, isn't it? Like there's too much information that you can digest when it comes to AI and AI updates. So the AI Profit Boardroom is by far the best place to start if you want to learn all this stuff and you want coaching as well. So we have 5 weekly coaching calls where you can just learn this stuff and ask questions and that sort of thing. Robertson says NotebookLM is completely different to use regular LLMs, docs, LM. Yeah, it brings it. Yeah, I would 100% agree. It's one of the top 5s. And then Eason says, can you connect GPT-5? No, so this actually runs on Gemini 2.5. That's what it's using. Eason says, where's an example of the video? You can see an example right here. And yeah, that's it. So, I mean, if you want to download this, well, you can. So if we click on download over here, we'll wait for that to download. That's running in the top right. That downloaded instantly. And now we've got this ready to go, right? And the only thing to note here is like you are going to see the watermark on the video. So you can see there's a watermark right here.
So today, we're going to do something a little different. Huge piece.
Right, and you see how there's a watermark in the bottom right down there as well. So just bear that in mind. But I mean, like, you get the full video is 7 minutes, right? 7 minutes. How long it used to take me to record a 7-minute video back in the day when I first started on YouTube, right? It used to take me literally about, I would say, to set up all the equipment and everything like that. I'd probably say about maybe 3 hours when I was first getting started, and the videos were trash, right? If you watch my old videos on YouTube, terrible. Whereas you can generate a video in 1 click, custom train on exactly what you need to. The pronunciation is perfect, the presentation is perfect, the audio is perfect, no messing around, right? And that's the world that we live in right now. So let's go back to this now. And we'll keep going through. Santiago says, thanks for answering my questions. Happy to help. AI Hub News says Gemini 3. And yeah, so as we keep going through this, let's keep running now. One of the other ways that you can use this, we go back to the NotebookLM module. All right, what we're going to do next, we're going to create a multilingual version of our content. Now, how do you do that? So what you can do over here is if you go to settings and then output language, right? You can choose between all these different languages that you can generate outputs in, right? So for example, let's say that I'm branching off into the Chinese market, right? And I've got this language right here. So we're going to click on save over here. I'm going to X off that, go back to the studio. And then if we click on video overview, that's going to generate, I think it will generate a video overview in Chinese, as far as I'm aware, and the audio overview too. Yep, and then even in the chat now, you can see we've got Chinese language outputs right here, right? Which is really cool because, let's say, for example, you're trying to translate something. Let's say, for example, you want to test your own skills here. Let's say, for example, you are trying to train a team member in a different language, right? Well, this is all possible now, and it wouldn't have been possible a year ago, something like that. So that's one of the other best things here. And then it's so easy to change the output language, right? You literally just go to settings, output language, boom shakalaka, you're off to the races, my friend. Now, what you can also do is you can build a personal AI trained on your business. So like you can see with this advanced sales operating procedure, we actually use something like this to train our team because, when they first come on, first day, first couple of days, they're all asking the same things, right? They're all asking the same questions. And so if you can just have a FAQs chatbot that's trained on your internal data, right? You upload that, it's private to you and your team. You're not sharing it with the world, you're only sharing it with your team. And then from there, you can train your team and you just save a lot of time training, right? Because you don't want to be sat around, if you're running a business, if you're a CEO, you don't want to be sat around answering the same questions over and over again. The team member probably feels a bit awkward asking silly questions that they have to know, but they don't know because it's their first day. And so you can easily solve those problems by creating a custom GPT or a NotebookLM trained on you. Now, ranking on Google with repurposed content. All right, this is awesome. All right, so let me show you an example right here. So if we go over to Reddit, we'll go over to the AI SEO Insider subreddit. This is a Reddit where we repurpose content from my YouTube channel, post it onto Reddit, and we get a crazy amount of views, right? Like 22,000 views this month. If we have a look over the past 12 months, this is increasing every month as well. So, you know, first month we only started at 800 views, and then it's just gradually increasing over time to the point where last month we got 25,000 views by repurposing our content, right? And this also ranks on Google directly as well, which is great. And what we're doing essentially here is we're using the content from our channel, posting it over to Reddit, and you can use NotebookLM to guide you with this, right? So for example, if we go back to NotebookLM over here, and we'll take that YouTube video that we custom trained before, we've got the video plugged in over here, that's the source. I'm just gonna go back over here, change the output language back to English, back to default, all right? And then from here, we can say, right, okay, create an SEO optimized blog for the keyword. And then if you want to find a keyword without paying for an expensive SEO tool, you can just do something like this, right? So you could put like NotebookLM update 2025. That's what people are typing into Google. So then we'll put create an SEO optimized blog for the keyword NotebookLM update 2025. All right, and now based on whatever source you've plugged in here, you can use that to start generating content. All right, obviously the video is about something totally different, so you wouldn't use this one. In fact, if you want to create content around GLM 4.5, which is what the video is about, let me show you how to do that. All right, so let's say, for example, you want to take GLM 4.5 free API, right? That's the keyword that you want to rank for. So we can go inside here and we can say, okay, create an SEO optimized article for the keyword, and then we'll put GLM 4.5 free API. That should work. If not, we need to mix things up, but we'll come back to that in a sec. Realm says blah, 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 yup. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeti says, who do you think will achieve AGI first? Honestly, I think it's going to be Google. I think Google are leading the world, right? And like this is a Google product. And if you look at Gemini 3.0, you look at NotebookLM, etc., these tools are just ultra powerful. It's wild. United says, I'm new here and I feel like he should be a game changer for me. I'd like to know more about what you do. Yeah, just check out the AI Profit Boardroom or book in a free AI automation session, link in the comment description. So we've got this guide right here, right? This is the content ready to go. And then you can plug that into, it could be Reddit, it could be LinkedIn, it could be your website, whatever. Obviously, if you're creating content that's customer facing in your business, you want to quality control it before you publish it. But this is really good. Like this is looking good to go. All right, and how simple and easy was that? So we've talked about 6 different ways to do this. You could also grab a webinar and then you could upload a recorded webinar and create a video summary, a podcast, a blog post, social media snippets, etc. Right. So the way that you do that, let's say this was a webinar, you would just say, okay, create 5 different social media posts, one for Reddit, Twitter, we'll put school on there, Facebook group, Facebook profile, right? Maybe a YouTube community post, for example, about this topic. And then that will repurpose it. But in the meantime, you've actually got 7 pieces of repurposed content because you've got 5 coming out here in the chat, right? And then you've also got the audio version and the video over here as well. And then if you really wanted to, like you could create a briefing doc and you could use that as a lead magnet as well to generate more leads. So we're good to go here. Yeti says, don't be mean. Don't be mean. Yeah, no negativity on this channel, my friends. And then that's basically how you can do this, all right? We've talked about the interactive trainer. So that's the sales recipe playbook. And then discover sources automatically for deeper content. Yeah, so this is a really powerful thing as well. So if we go back over here and we're like, right, I need more information about GLM 4.5 before we publish the content. So if we go to discover and then we'll type in GLM 4.5, this is an easy way you can just go deeper on the topic to train your NotebookLM on more content so that it gives you more sources and it gives you more information. It's better trained, right? So over here, we're discovering all the sources. We're plugging that in right here, and then we should be good to go on that as well. By the way, which countries have we got watching? I know we've got people from Jamaica. Who else we got watching and from which country? It's always interesting to see. Shivam says, wow, good to see you here. And then we're just going to click on import and take those 10 sources. Right? So we're taking those 10 sources. Now, I am not a legal expert, and you just need to be careful in what you publish and what you use and what content, etc. you use when you're generating, especially like video or audio outputs or anything that you're going to monetize, right? So always give credit where credit's due. If you're not sure, check with an expert. I'm not an expert on the legal stuff, but you can, easily import and use sources inside NotebookLM. It's just for anything customer facing or front facing for your business. You want to be careful in terms of who you credit, what information you use, etc. Okay? Now, the other thing here to note as well is you see how it's using CTAs based on that video. So it said, don't forget all the video notes, templates, blah, 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 are inside the AI free group. And then it's using the information from my video to create the outputs inside this chat as well. So that's basically it. And then creating educational micro lessons. So this is really cool. Santiago says he's from Mexico, Toluca. Good to see you. I actually used to live in Playa del Carmen for about 3 months. Beautiful place, beautiful place. Some of the best beaches in the world, some of the best food in the world as well. And then Shivam says, I'm from India. I'm following you since a long time. Your content is really good. Appreciate it. Thank you. And then AI Xmas says, Julian, once you've generated a landing page or this, you post it automatically on your web, maybe for monetizing news. Yeah, so I mean, that's one of the interesting things, right? I'll give you an example, right? So this is cheat code. I'm only going to show you on this video, and if you're watching all the way to the end, you're an absolute legend. And so I will share this with you, right? And so what I'm going to share with you now is something that works really, really well on LinkedIn, all right? So we're going to go to newsletters over here. You can create a newsletter really fast. So you can see we've got the AI automation newsletter, and we actually have 7,000 subscribers, which is bigger than most people's email list. I think most people on average, if you're running a decent sized business, probably about 5,000, something like that. And we get 3,000 to 4,000 views a day on our newsletter, right? 26,000 article views per month. And this is all AI news, right? So if we go over here and we go to the AI Automation Insider and we see what we've published recently. So for example, like this one, we actually use a similar process to what I'm showing you today to create content like this. And then, 7,000 people or 4,000 people read it a day, right? You can see we got 7,300 subscribers for the AI Automation Insider newsletter, right? And so you can create something beautifully formatted like this, super useful. You can create the latest news headlines using NotebookLM, then you can publish it to LinkedIn, and then you can grow a newsletter and reach a lot of people. And the other cool thing about newsletters on LinkedIn, right, is that not only does it quickly grow, not only does it reach a lot of people, but it also goes to their email inbox, right? So you can get inside their email inbox daily, and then you can funnel traffic to your funnels, right? So for example, inside this newsletter, what we actually do with the latest news articles is we link to all our funnels and we funnel traffic to our, free SEO strategy session or our AI profit boardroom, etc. And so we create these awesome articles. They read really nicely. They direct traffic to our funnels, and it's completely free for you to do because you can have a free account on LinkedIn, create a newsletter. You can have a free account on NotebookLM, generate the content, and boom shakalaka, you're ready to go. All right. LMS says, we are OGs till the end. That's what I appreciate you for. Appreciate you watching. And then Yeti says, do you think Grok is good? Because I think it's all right, but people on X keep saying it's good. from what I've seen, honestly, I tested it last week with a quick task. I was like, right, let's give it a shot because I might switch. And then I tested it. It was not that great. It was not that great. Honestly, I prefer ChatGPT just because it has so much information on me. And then AIMS says, but you only publish there and no more ads on the side, all automated, and what you do with the 30K. So yeah, so I mean, like, we talk a lot about this inside the AI Profit Boardroom, but the goal here is to funnel traffic to your funnels, right? So whatever pages you make money to, right? So if I had to put this inside a diagram for you, essentially what you're doing is you're using AI to create content, all right? So, you know, whether that's NotebookLM, whether that's GPT-5, etc. That's stage number one. Stage number two is you're going to capture people's attention, right? So, for example, that could be a YouTube video. That could be, for example, Twitter. It could be posting on Reddit, like I've shown you. It could be posting on LinkedIn, etc. Right? So we create the content with AI. We grab people's attention. And then from here, once we've got their attention, we can funnel that traffic to our landing pages, which is going to make us money, right? And so we use AI to save dozens of hours, you know, because it's going to take a long time to create 6 pieces of content normally, but we can automate it with AI. Then we're going to grab people's attention and capture it, and then we're going to funnel that attention to our landing pages, which make us money, right? If you want to learn how to make your landing pages convert, etc., we actually have loads of good templates inside the AI Profit Boardroom that you can steal from us, and also we have loads of trainings on basically how I automate all this stuff, you know, whether that's emails, Twitter, shorts on YouTube, whether that's AI avatar videos, whether that's, for example, scraping live web pages, whether that's automating SPs to train my team. Everything is inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. All right. So that's basically how we do this. And AI says 10 out of 10. You are the boss. Really quality content. Appreciate you. Shivam says, do you think GPT-5 is better than GPT-4o? And what do you think about GPT-5 being less emotional? I 100% agree with that on GPT-5, right? I think it is less emotional because when you create content with it, I just don't think the content is as good as GPT-4o was previously, right? When I'm generating responses with GPT-5, it's just, it lacks that emotion that Sonnet now has. I honestly think that Claude 4 Sonnet is better for writing. I still use GPT-5 just because all my information is plugged in there. But yeah, I think Claude is the best when it comes to writing content now. GPT-4o was better previously. I don't know if you can change back the models inside your settings. You might be able to change the settings here so that you can use a different model. I've not messed around with this for ages. Otherwise, you could use the APIs, right? So you could use, for example, GPT-4o's API instead of using ChatGPT-5. There might be a way to like switch back the model, but yeah. If not, what you can do is just use if you're really keen on using ChatGPT and the old models, you can just go inside here, type in ChatGPT. And then you can get access to GPT-4o still, right? So if you still want to create outputs with GPT, you can. But yeah, I think Claude Sonnet is better for creating content. But GPT-5 is really good for logical stuff, right? It's still really good. And Shivam says you can change the model back to GPT-4o in the plus sign. Let's have a look here. So let's click on settings. And then show legacy models. So if we click on that, thanks Shivam, by the way, for chipping in there. So if we go to settings, general, show legacy models, and then look at that. Yeah, so we can switch back to GPT-4o there, and then you can use that for creating content. So if you are stuck and you don't want to pay extra, you can use GPT-4o directly right there. And Codename Zulu says Abacus AI still has GPT-4o as well. Great tips right there. Great stuff. All right. Appreciate everyone watching in. Isan says Claude is the best writer. I would agree with you. Isan says, was that article Perplexity an article you created or a source? That was an article. Sorry, it was a YouTube video that we created the content with. We got people from Bulgaria, UK here, and shout out to everyone. All right. So if you want to connect with me personally, I literally get asked every day, like, how can I connect with you personally? How can I ask you some questions, etc. Just join the AI Profit Boardroom. It's literally the only place that I connect with people personally, that I answer questions, etc. You can jump on 5 weekly calls like this, including the NA10 Automation Masterclass. You can also get training with Dr. Jeff, who's a PhD scientist on AI automation, absolute legend. And then also you can learn on the Friday masterclasses, and you also get access to all of my best trainings, like you can see inside the classroom here, including, for example, the 6-week AI Automation Masterclass. That is great for beginners if you don't know where to start. We have all of the social media, email, content automations, tons of NA10 templates and workflows, agency course, step-by-step for growing your agency and getting clients with AI automation, and then also, finally, YouTube AI roadmap as well, along with all this other stuff. But yeah, that's the highlights. And then inside the community, it's very, very active. So you can see here, you can actually request automations. We've got 220 automations that were built for people, as you can see, and we get back to everyone, right? So if you have an automation request, you're like, I want to see this, or I don't know how to do this, etc., we show you exactly how to build pretty much everything inside this list, like you can see, right? Everything gets answered. We help people as much as we can. Very active community. If you want to join the gang, join the Air Profit Boardroom. Prices are going up, so right now we only have 21 spots at the current price, so make sure you sign up now because the price never drops, it always goes up. And then also, if you want us to just do everything for you, then feel free to book in an AI automation session right here. So if you're like, right, Julian, I want to become a client, you know, maybe you've got a budget of $2,000 or $3,000 a month to spend on AI automation as a client, maybe you're an enterprise, etc., then feel free to book in a automation session. On that call, we're going to look at where you're spending your time, right? So what takes the most time? Then we're going to figure out, okay, what system builds do you need to automate with AI? And then finally, we'll go off and implement it for you as well. All right. Appreciate your. Codename Zulo says, Julian, you've helped me a lot with your content. Appreciate you. AI says, you're a legend. I will go in. Well, I'll see you inside the AI Profit Boardroom, my friends. All right. And you can also DM me, so you can direct message me as well, and I get back to you pretty quickly. All right. Cheers for watching. See you on the next one.